Welcome everybody, this is How to English Teach and Learn with Gav Em.
It's a podcast about teaching and learning English as a foreign language.
All opinions stated are personal and references will be given when necessary.
Hey Gav.
Hey Em.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Should we find out how the followers are doing too, Em?
Sure.
Followers, are you okay? I think that was a resounding yes.
Good to know.
So why do we find ourselves here once again, Em?
We are here to discuss life, work, TEFLing, how it is, what we do, day-to-day things, maybe not, maybe big, deep, philosophical things, whatever comes to mind. Because lately, Gav, I've been thinking...
Can I interrupt you there, Em?
Yes, go ahead.
You know, discover.
Yeah.
Well, I did check after the episode just to make sure that I was correct. Discover has a prefix at the beginning.
Are you referring to last episode, Gav, where I laughed, I actually scoffed, I would say, at your attempt to say that discover had a prefix?
Yes.
Really?
I did check it and it does have a prefix because it's dis and cover together.
See, I was thinking it was uncover, like to cover something and then to uncover.
Well, that's also a prefix, but discover, dis being the prefix before cover, is a prefixed verb.
So to discover to mean to find, to reveal, rather than to uncover, which is to show, maybe, which is very similar.
It is very similar, but there's a difference.
I take it. I stand corrected.
You take it back.
I am eating humble pie as we speak with a side order of ice cream. I don't know what flavour ice cream it would be, but it's...
We may never discover that.
Guilt ice cream? No. Anyway.
Thanks for that. I just wanted to put it in just in case anybody thought, why is Em laughing at Gav saying the word discover?
Should never laugh at Gav because he's usually right, which I'm learning.
Well, not always, but what was it you've been reflecting on?
Well, the reason we are here today to discuss our thoughts, and yes, lately I have been thinking about fun, the word fun, Gav, in the classroom for students and for teachers.
Fun, not funny.
No, fun, to have fun, not to make fun, to have fun. And where is the line between fun and stress? That may not make any sense.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Let me explain.
Maybe the followers have got exactly your meaning and they're shouting at their radiograms.
Let me explain. So, for example, a long time ago, the beginning of my TEFLing life, I tried very hard to make things fun.
Why did you do that, Em?
Because I thought that was a good lesson.
Why did you think that, Em?
Well, you're delving very deep now. I think CELTA probably taught me that you got to spice it up. You can't just give students a page of grammar. So make everything fun, which was a challenge sometimes.
That certainly is a challenge, trying to make grammar fun.
Well, and especially when you've got a very strict syllabus, you've got to do a page a day or something like that, and then you've got an end of unit test in the book, and you've got to make it fun. So anyway, I used to make all these games out of the test, which could be a running to the board type style, write the answers down, or a whisper it to your partner who then whispers it to the next partner, thinking all this was brilliant and that students would be loving it, until one day one student got very stressed out, threw up her hands and said, I can't think, this is too fast, I can't even get the grammar in my head, I can't remember all the words, this is just stressful.
Really?
And she nearly left, and I suddenly thought, oh, hang on a minute.
Fun is not for everyone.
Fun is for everyone probably, but I think more importantly, people have different ideas about what fun is.
Ah.
And that's what I'd like to know, Gav. Where is the line, you see, between fun and stress?
I can see how an activity in the classroom might become a bit too intensive.
Frantic.
And the student might be overwhelmed with what's happening. I mean, students learn at their own pace, Em, which I've discovered over many years of teaching.
They do.
And you might need to go at a specific student's speed rather than at the majorities or even what's necessary for your activity, which you wrote before even realising these students might not be able to keep up.
Might be a bit of a difficult task when you've got 20 people in a class and you're trying to make it fun.
20 students, you mean? Or just 20 random people?
20 students. You've got 20 students, and most of them are having a great time, because I do remember that it stayed with me. You can tell I've got some bad memories from this. But there were faces of shock that, wow, who would not love this? And other students were saying, this is great, we're loving this. But I always come back to this one student who was struggling with it, and I really feel sorry for her, and I do wonder what was the best way to deal with it. How would you have dealt with it?
I would have got everybody to stop, taken the time out, take stock of the moment, have a quick look at the grammar or the vocabulary that we were revising, and then say to the student who seems to be struggling the most, are you ready to continue, or would you like to do something else now?
I did that. I did take a moment out. I said, let's take a break, have a little minute to calm down. She was quite angry and upset.
Gather your nerves.
Can you gather your nerves? I don't know. Gather my thoughts.
Calm your nerves.
Calm my nerves. And I actually said to her, what aspect of this is stressing you out? What is it? Is it the game? Is it the people you're with? I probably didn't say that, but I did ask, what exactly is it? And she said it's the time limit. I don't like the time limit.
Ah.
And there you go. Your answer's there. I just stopped with the time limit. I said, okay, no time limit. We'll do it as long as it takes you to do the task.
But so many of these activities are based around time, and it's often a competition between groups and who can complete the task first.
Which is what makes it fun. So I killed the fun, to be honest. But I think it was that or get a complaint against me, because I do see that some students are not able to perform like that under pressure, and they shouldn't have to deal with it, and maybe she was just having a bad day.
They don't want pressure in their classroom. They want to have fun.
Well, that's what I thought I was having, but yeah, I'm just saying to everyone out there, reflect on fun, because you might not even see the stress levels rising. You might not identify this as something that could cause stress, but you really do need to pay attention to everyone, and maybe I didn't see the stress appear.
Bubbling up in the students' mind.
Like a volcano that then erupted.
Can I add another level of complexity to this?
Yeah.
I've done activities that have been rather fast and exciting for the students, but then I wondered afterwards just how much they learnt from that experience.
That is a very good point as well, Gav, because fun doesn't necessarily mean retaining information.
It doesn't always lead to success.
So you have to test them as well, in the sense of, what do you remember from last week? And they say, oh, it was really
fun.
And that is wonderful. We really enjoy having fun, but do you remember the language? Do you remember what we were actually practicing?
Or maybe before the lesson finishes, when you've done the fun activity, just put it up on the board and say, this is what we did, these are the rules, these are the new words, write it down, take it home, and I'm going to test you next week. But in a fun way.
Yes. You may want to switch it up and do something different, have a collaborative team building type task, which is also fun, but not with that high octane, competitive, winning nature that it generates. Because fun can be something else. It can be calm. It can be a game. It could be a board game or something.
There's just a sense of competition, but not stress.
Yeah. So that's my first thought of the day, Gav. Long time ago, fun was a different thing to me. Fun now is not so much running up and down the room and shouting things at each other. It's more calm and tranquil.
I like that. Something I've been thinking about recently. In fact, I want to introduce you to a concept that maybe you haven't heard before, but it's called the cold coffee syndrome. I invented this myself.
Cold coffee syndrome. No, I really couldn't guess what that is. Is it just people who like coffee that's cold?
It's not, but it is directly related to TEFL teaching and learning.
You might have to help with this one.
Imagine you've arranged with your student to meet in a very well-known coffee shop. They order, you sit down, you take a sip of your coffee and you ask them, So tell me about your day. And then 45 minutes later...
There's a cup of cold coffee sitting on the table.
Exactly, that's the cold coffee syndrome.
Oh.
Now, do you think this is a measure of success or failure from the teacher's point of view?
Oh, absolutely success.
And from the students?
Good question. Depends what their target was. I guess it wasn't to drink coffee. I guess it was to speak a lot of English. So I would say it's success both sides. But you may, as a teacher, owe that student a hot cup of coffee.
That is very true. Or perhaps they like cold coffee.
Could be. I mean, that's good if it's a hot summer's day and the temperature isn't important.
It's just occurred to me, and maybe it's an iced coffee.
Well, I think the same idea applies because that iced coffee could get warm. The ice could melt. If it's a milkshake, it could lose its froth. You know, basically, it's not the drink you ordered.
It could be quite disappointing either way. But what does the student get out of it in real terms of learning?
Just fluency and an amazing interaction where they feel heard, they feel seen. The teacher is keeping them engaged. There's no awkward silences. There's no just sipping coffee, looking awkwardly at the table. I would say cold coffee syndrome is something you should aim for.
But as we're teaching and learning TEFL tips podcast, I have a couple of strategies of how to avoid this, but in a positive way, so you still get the same outcomes.
Oh, okay. I'm intrigued. What would you do?
You could ask the student long, complex questions that will give them an opportunity to sip their coffee.
Oh, sorry, I was really confused then. I thought the point was long, complex questions, which meant they couldn't speak, but you're saying they need time to think before they speak.
Well, while you're speaking, the teacher,
I see.
the student has lots of time to drink their coffee.
Okay, so it's like a story question, which shows the student can actually take a break and listen a little bit.
Or you can say, let's drink our drinks for a moment.
Actually, just give instructions. That's always good as well. You haven't touched your coffee. Do you want to try it? Could do.
Or simply, what do you think of the coffee here? That will force them to drink some.
That is good. I like that.
And we still get the same outcome. So the student still enjoys themselves. They have lots of learning moments and they get to enjoy their drink, which they probably paid quite a lot of money for, to be honest.
Well, in those sorts of coffee shops, yeah. But I agree. It's being mindful, paying attention to the student, because it's a bit weird if you sit there for an hour or whatever and they haven't drunk anything and you haven't mentioned it, because it's clearly the reason you go to a coffee shop is to drink coffee. So I would say, you haven't drunk your coffee. Come on, drink it.
That's a good idea. I feel so guilty when I see my student's hand grasping their cup of coffee, which I know is getting cold, and they lift it towards their mouth, and I say to them, well, what do you think? And then I see
the lips purse, pause,
the hand frozen in the air. And then slowly the hand retreats the cup back down to its landing point onto the coaster.
Well, I think that's credit to you, really, if your students don't even get a chance to drink their coffee. But I don't often get time to, not so much time, but I don't like drinking that much in front of my students. I find it a bit difficult, timing-wise.
Do you not?
Well, unless they are in the middle of a conversation and I can clearly take a break and just stop. But to try and drink in the middle of an explanation is quite a skill.
Your own explanation or the student's?
Yeah, your own explanation. Obviously, if somebody else is talking, it's a lot easier. But have you ever tried to just talk and then drink and then continue talking?
No, I always drink when the students are talking.
Yeah.
And preferably to each other.
I think it's a good tip because you might drink it wrong. It might go down the wrong tube, come out your nose. Everybody's focused on you. They're just going to see a mess. Be careful. Gav, the next thing I've been thinking about is our teaching lives compared with our private lives. So we are teachers, of course. We do our jobs. We stop work and we go back to air quotes, normal life. But it's not just a thought, it's more of a question as well. How does teaching English as a foreign language impact you in your day-to-day life when you're not teaching? Do you think about things? Do you see things a certain way? Are you listening to the way people speak? Are you kind of subliminally correcting your family and friends as they speak to you?
I was about to say, I cannot help but teach in my head, no matter where I am, in my own time. It just happens.
Yeah.
I suddenly find there are two words that are very similar, and I suddenly want to explain to an imaginary student the difference between the two words.
Oh, so you're talking about just in your own thought process, you're thinking, oh, well, that's different to that word.
Well, I might be reading a book, I might be listening to a podcast, it could be a TV show, and I just think, why did that person use that word? They could have used this word. Hold on, what's the difference? And now I have a student sitting in front of me, looking at me, desperate to know the answer, and yeah, that's the situation I often find myself in.
So you've paused your podcast and you're just imagining, how would I teach this? Yeah, that happens to me all the time, and I have to go back and listen again because I haven't been paying attention. I've just been thinking exactly that. How would I teach that word? And also, if people use the wrong word, and I'm not talking about students here, I'm just talking about, friends and people I know, I just want to say, no, that's not the right word. Why are you using the word ambivalent when it clearly means you have two different feelings about something? And it sounds like you think it means you don't care about something. These sorts of things.
Yeah, that happens quite a lot, Em, where people confuse similar looking words.
Do you say anything, though? Do you correct them?
No.
Because it's not your job.
It's not my job to correct the world.
No. But I kind of want to. You can buy those cups that say, I am silently correcting your grammar as you speak to me.
And T-shirts.
I am that teacher. You can't turn it off, can you, Gav?
Do you think we were born with this, Em? Were we born teachers? Or has this just developed after many years of teaching and correcting people in our classrooms?
I can't speak for everyone, but personally, it's definitely something I've developed. I was never this pedantic as a child.
It didn't bother you before?
Don't think I was aware of a lot of the mistakes before. Now I've learned a lot about English and I know the mistakes, so there's part of that. But also, not just correcting people's grammar and vocabulary. Do you see things out in the world and you think, oh, I could use that to teach with, or that's a really good idea for a lesson? Do you do that a lot?
I definitely used to do that more often, but actually connecting it to what you were talking about before, I often find myself wanting to correct apostrophes that I see written on signs. But anyway, I think we're done with that topic.
Well, you could take photos and take that in and say to your students, what's wrong with this? This is not Photoshop, by the way. This was in my supermarket, which is quite nice.
Or created by an AI.
Do people not Photoshop anymore? Sorry, Gav, I'm going to update my vocabulary there. This is not AI.
It's not fake.
This is real life.
I think I used to collect newspapers, magazine articles. I would often pick up litter.
Really?
I would often collect packaging from products and just think, wow, these are so cool. My students would love to see these across the world. When I travel to this other country and say, hey, look, this is how we do advertising in Britain. Look at the English. Look how marketing is super cool and very creative with the English language. But you know what, Em?
What, Gav?
My students weren't very interested.
Why not?
I'm not sure. Maybe I didn't deliver it very well. But over time, maybe I became lazy. Maybe my students were more interested in other things. But no, don't do that anymore. What about you?
Hang on a minute. There's a lot there that I want to ask you about. So is it because you were just walking in saying, hey, I found this on the street the other day. Look at this. How can your energy for that not be received positively? I don't get it.
I found that my students just wanted to talk about other things, Em. Often they want to talk about their own culture rather than mine.
Maybe if there's no task there either, so they've got no reason to be looking at a newspaper.
Of course there was a task.
Oh, so you didn't just say, hey, look at this, everyone.
There was vocabulary in there was grammar, we could analyse some of that stuff, but I think I moved away a bit from the visual teaching approach to more verbal communications.
Well, that doesn't mean you can't get inspiration from the real world. I just think you could be in a supermarket queue and think, oh, that's a really good example of someone asking a question about tinned peaches, and then you go into the classroom and you use that as an inspiration for a lesson.
It's a very good technique, but I still struggle making students particularly interested in these things. Maybe I'm just not a good storyteller.
Well, I don't know, because last episode you were talking about making lessons from everyday situations, like looking out the window and talking about a car park. So I think you may be doing it without realising it, or it's just your normal way of teaching now. It's incorporated into life, and life is art, and art is life.
I agree, but I do remember many years ago having pictures of signs, having recordings of conversations and analysing them in a lot more detail than I do now.
Yeah, well, I think also the internet and our ability to use all these online places, it kind of replaces real life in a way. So maybe it's just a reflection of our lives now.
That's very true. We can just bring up a video and show students and analyse that rather than saying, hey, I was down the pub and this person said this to me. Although I did actually say that the other day.
Now the truth comes out, you see.
Yeah, you're right. It's not always real, but I might use a structure that I pretend happened in real life. Oh, it's getting really complicated now.
Okay, so even if you're just pretending it's happening, it's still interesting for students.
I think so.
Now it's, really complicated, because I was just going to say, it's like when you ask your student a question and they say, oh yeah, no, nothing happened at the weekend, because that's just their automatic knee-jerk question-answer thing, and then, no, actually, I went to the zoo, and you think, well, okay, you got to just actually think about it, so maybe you just replied with a automatic answer. One more thing, though. Last thing about real life and teaching life, because we teach online now, do you find that you're losing the ability to get the timing right in real life conversations?
I think I've always been really bad at it.
Oh, okay. In what way?
I tend to interrupt people before they finish, or wait a really long time and then realise they've finished a few seconds ago.
And that's the same online and in real life?
I'm not too bad online, but I think that's because I'm generally in control of everything. So I speak and then they speak and then I speak and then they speak. Real life's not like that.
No, it's not. And I'm struggling a bit with eye contact in real life. I'm not used to it. People have to look at you, but how long do you look at them? And when you're online, you can look at everything and it doesn't matter. You haven't got to look away. I think I might be losing the skills a little bit, which is just one of those things, I guess.
It might not be a problem, but don't you make eye contact with your students online?
Yeah, but I think maybe I make too much eye contact because you don't have those cues to start looking away. And, when you're talking, usually, I think we naturally look away, but when we're online, I feel like you have to maintain the eye contact, or students might think you're actually doing something else.
I still look away when I'm speaking. I've noticed that.
Okay, maybe I do too. All right, I'm just thinking maybe it's a little bit different online. The timing is different, the eye contact's different. You can't really pick up on the body language. You have to be more mindful when you're face to face, what you're doing with your hands, what you're doing with your feet.
I have found myself saying to students, you, yes, I'm looking at you. And then I realise they can't see who I'm looking at.
Yeah.
And I also say things like, okay, well, you're sitting next to her, so you turn to her. And then I realise they're not really there like that.
No.
They're just in different cities.
Wow. That's funny if you forget that.
But in my head it makes sense because they're all in little boxes next to each other. So I just say, turn to your left, turn to your right, speak to the person below.
Do you? Online? I'm not sure I believe you.
I do.
How do you do pair work online? It doesn't work.
I tell them to go into a different room.
Right, so they should know just who they're next to on the screen, and then they pair off and go in a room.
Well, I might tell them. Well, I can do that myself now.
Yeah, okay. I'm just confused that it would be like they turn to each other and start talking.
I can't believe I've made you confused again.
Doesn't take much, Gav.
The last thing I've been thinking about, Em, is how do you feel about a cancelled lesson?
We're going there, are we?
We are going there. We're taking the cancelled lesson train all the way to the station, and I want to see where you get off.
Right. We're putting our cards on the table.
Yep.
Being totally honest.
Yep.
How do I feel about, a last-minute cancellation or a within 24 hours
That's it. You go through the whole list. How do you feel? I mean, I feel gutted. Totally gutted. I can't believe it.
In any situation.
Well, maybe not in any situation, because then I might think, well, I do need to edit the pod tomorrow, so now that student's cancelled, maybe I've got a bit of time to do that.
Oh, there's a lot to think about, really. When students cancel, how do I feel? A bit concerned, maybe. The first reaction is concerned, because why have they cancelled?
Is it me? Did I say something?
Is it something I did? Exactly. It's always, blame yourself. But then if they've written to say they've got a meeting or they're not well, then yeah, I feel a bit sad that it's not going to happen, but also maybe a bit like, yeah, I've got extra time now that I wouldn't have.
To do some more planning for the other classes?
Absolutely, yeah.
Or to sit in your favourite armchair, drink some tea and listen to a podcast?
That comes later. But I do feel a bit guilty, I must say. I never really feel relaxed and that I've got that time really for myself. I always feel like there's something else I should be doing.
Do you feel guilty on behalf of the student? On behalf of yourself? What reason is it that you feel guilty?
I guess because either you're getting paid to do nothing if it's a late cancellation.
Gasp.
Which I don't like that feeling, really.
That's a horrible feeling.
Or you are not working and you should be working, and it's money you could be making and you're not making, and it's not guilt really, it's more than a feeling of uncomfortableness, if
discomfort.
Discomfort, like discover. And then I feel a bit on edge. So I don't know if I really enjoy it. I know the idea of it's nice. You think, oh great, Monday morning, I haven't got that lesson. Fantastic. But in reality, I don't fully enjoy it.
I could be earning money. Or, if you do get paid for it, you might think, that class has cancelled a lot. I hope they don't get the entire course cancelled because they're not attending the class.
Yes, you may be enjoying the free time, but in the long run, you might actually lose that class if they regularly cancel. And it's not good, is it? It's not good for anybody.
It's not always in our power either, although we do try to encourage the students to come as often as possible.
That's true. Whatever it is, the reason could be out of your control. Usually is out of your control as a teacher. But I don't feel good about it. I think it's not good for anyone, is it? It's not good for the students or the company or your company, their company. It's just not the right thing.
I want to be busy during the week. These are the hours that I put by in order to teach my students to earn some money outside of those allocated hours, those teaching hours. Is my time, and that's when I'm not working.
Yeah, you've got your work hours, you've got your free time hours, and I always think my lunch break is a nice hour that I enjoy, and if that's a cancelled lesson hour, it's a different feeling. It's not that enjoyable. And it's always, have I got it right? Have they all cancelled? If it's a group class, I think maybe there's one that will just turn up, and I should just be ready in case they're online and I need to join. It's not that relaxing.
It's very true. I'm also on edge during that time when I should be teaching.
Can we finish with something funny?
Is it short?
Not fun, but funny. Well, I've got some jokes. Lately I've been thinking about jokes in English that students may be able to understand.
They must be very simple jokes then.
But you're underestimating your students. They're slightly grammar-based jokes, vocabulary-based jokes. Jokes are quite hard in other languages.
And the more you dissect them, the less funny they become.
Oh, absolutely. If you have to explain jokes, they're not funny. Let's see if you agree with me that these would be good classroom jokes, okay? What's the difference between a cat and a comma?
I don't know what's the difference between a cat and a comma.
A comma is a pause on the end of a clause, and a cat has claws at the end of its paws. You may need to break this one down. Can you explain it? You may need to write on the board the spelling of things.
Yes. What level was the student?
Advanced. This is advanced.
The clause is a chunk of language a sentence, for example.
CLAUSE, yes.
And claws being on the end of cats' feet
Yes. Paws.
are called
Sorry. Start again.
And the nails on the end of a cat's paws are called claws.
PAWS, like their feet, and claws, CLAWS, their nails, yes.
And I'm going to pause at the end of this sentence, PAUSE.
Maybe not the best one to start with. Okay, high level, I understand that. Let me try an easier one that I think any student that can string a sentence together would understand. The past, the present, and the future walk into a bar. It was tense. You like that one?
I like that one. The problem is that my students don't know the word tense, which describes the times that we use in grammatical sentences.
Oh, really?
They say times.
Oh, no.
They don't say tenses.
Well, then that doesn't work either, does it?
They might not get that one.
Oh, dear. These are not that funny. Maybe these are just English teacher jokes, then.
Maybe.
I've got one more. This isn't the best, but we'll see. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Who?
Who? Who?
How do knock, knock jokes go, Gav?
Who's there?
Knock, knock. Start again. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Who?
Who?
Who? Is that how knock, knock jokes go?
Who is it?
Oh, sorry. Scrap all of that. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
To.
To who?
Actually, it's to whom.
To whom am I speaking?
Do you like that?
That is also crap.
Can't say that word.
You said last episode.
I did not.
Yeah, you did. We've got 2 swear words now in this one. Might have 3 in the next episode if you listen carefully.
I liked that one. I thought it was good, but maybe not for students then. Wah, wah.
Well done, Em. Thank you for entertaining us with your terrible jokes.
You're very welcome.
I'm off to check my timetable and make sure there are no cancellations. I suggest you do the same. And you can practice your eye contact before the next episode.
Okay. Things to improve. Thank you for that homework. Have a nice day, Gav.
You too. And thanks for listening to us. Don't forget, if you want to support the show, visit ko-fi.com/how-to-English-pod.
And you can buy us a hot beverage.
Which might go cold while you're teaching your students.
Oh, nice.
Bye.
Bye-bye.